No way. You flew in specifically for the show to be on Sparkz. You came all the way from
Well,
Latin
it was the
America.
number one priority. It's my first meeting of the day.
No
Yes.
way. 3 o'clock in the morning. You just flew in.
Yeah, I flew in this morning from Bogota.
Oh my goodness. Let's welcome Alvaro Torres from Khiron Life Sciences to my show. This is super exciting. You flew in
Thank you.
specifically. I feel honored, actually. Super honored.
Well, now I just have to make up the rest of the schedule and fly back tomorrow. But,
Well, welcome to New York City.
thank you. Thank you. I love being here.
You love it? What's the
Yeah.
vibe? How can you explain it?
It's a cool vibe. It's a cool
Yeah.
city. People are in their own business, but it just feels like very cosmopolitan. I love it. I went to school in upstate New York,
Oh, really?
in RPI, upstate in Albany, near Albany. So
It's good
I
to be
used
back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. The weather may be not what you expect, but it's not that cold, considering I'm from Colombia. So
What
you
was
know.
the weather like in Colombia right now when you?
I'm from Bogota, so Bogota is 2,600 meters above sea level, so it's not that hot. So it's always like what I was saying, 18 to 20. Although it rains a lot, so that you have to compensate for that. But it only takes us an hour to travel to go to the beach. So it's
Sounds lovely.
it is lovely. It is. It is. It is.
You can feel it with your packaging for Quita. Like you can feel
Yeah.
that the climate just from looking at the packaging.
Well, Latin Americans are cool.
Yes,
So
they are very
we
cool.
gotta make a cool product.
Yeah, I love the product. I've been
Thank
using
you.
it, and I'm a huge fan. I'm loving the eye contour. I love the facial and body scrub. It's like
Thank you.
it's like what I look forward to at the end of the night after a long day, and really like the night cream too. That felt very hydrating. Definitely felt like my skin was rejuvenated after.
It shows.
Yeah, do I have the glow?
Yes, the
Thank you
Cuida
guys.
glow.
Not
Yes.
bad for 31 years old.
No battle.
Well, welcome.
Thank
so I'm excited for your product. You guys literally just started this over a year ago?
Yes, yes. We started about in November of 2018, so it's been
Wow.
a year, a couple of months, yeah, yeah. And so far, so good. I mean, we started in Colombia. Now we're starting sales in the United States. We were just 2 days ago in the jewelry channel in the UK.
I saw
So,
that on your
yeah,
Instagram.
you saw it? You
yeah,
liked it?
you got to their social media.
Yeah, no, Elsa was doing a great job. Elsa is our vice president of CPGs. She's in charge of all of this. And Khiron, our president of Europe, Tej, they're doing a great work putting the product out there in Europe. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, it's great to work with women in cannabis.
Always, always.
Yeah.
Actually, 56% of the company is women.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's exciting. And this product is geared towards men and women.
Well, yes, of course, it's mostly geared towards women, but in my case, I use it at night because I like the spray for relaxing, and the idea is to also start crossing boundaries. We live in an age where boundaries are not so black and white anymore. No, so it's an opportunity.
I had a friend who told me that when he went to Colombia, he said Colombia had the most beautiful women. So, using these products, will us Americans become the most beautiful women?
Well, obviously there's the genetics, but yeah, sure. If you use this type of product, you probably look like that. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. Give me the rundown of how this all came about.
You mean the company or the brand or?
Just how it, how you formulated the company, the team.
Right. No,
everything.
So I started the company about 3 years ago. It's going to be 3 years in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
It was me and my partner and 2 partners, and we were just sitting around thinking what to do. I mean, we were all sort of entrepreneurial, trying to do our own business. I was doing infrastructure, so I was doing something completely different. Skyscrapers and power lines and pipelines, things that have nothing to do with
That has
cannabis.
nothing to do with cannabis.
No, except I'm an engineer, so we're all masochists, right?
Right.
So, do you try to do challenging things, and
Of course.
what else can we do that's more challenging?
Yeah,
So,
you've done it all.
the Colombian government came out with this new regulation on medical cannabis, and we started reading these new regulations. Seem amazing, but the way I like to build the company, we were thinking about. There's 2 ways to think about it, right? One is that Colombia, we're coffee producers. We have great environment. All the weather conditions are great, so we can produce this very cheap.
Of course.
Or we can take advantage of the amazing population that we have, 640 million people, or we build a branded, focused medical cannabis company. So on one hand, you have the say equivalent, and now I'm seeing you doing your espresso. How much do you pay for that? How much is that?
I got this for free.
Okay, so
They sent
but
it to me.
It will sell for what? $4 probably, $5.
This is probably around $4.95.
All right, so
yeah.
let's say $5. But coffee, we sell coffee in Colombia for 80 cents a pound.
That's incredible.
and then somebody puts that coffee, puts it in espresso, adds a couple of sugars or whatever it's in it, and they charge $5 for it.
Yeah.
So it made no sense for me to build a company that's based on that agricultural advantage because, you know, 15 years ago, Colombia was selling coffee at $2 a pound, and then Brazil came in, and then it was 150. Then Vietnamese came in, and now it's 80 cents. And that's a diminishing returns type of strategy. So I didn't want to be in the commodity business. And there's a lot of companies in Colombia that want to do that, and that's great. I wanted to build something that's this, branded products, even with the medical. How do you, build relationships with consumers and patients, and that's what we wanted to do. And that's what we set out to do, and that's why we named the company Chiron. So I'm a Greek mythology type of geek, I guess, and I named the company after Chiron. Is the centaur that taught Hercules medicine, and is the patron saint of pharmacies. So we didn't want to name the company Cana anything or Mary anything or Mary Jane whatever. We not want to name it after a pharmacy, after a branded product. That's how we started the company. And from then on, we went to Toronto to try to raise money for it. We incorporated a company in Canada. Headquarters is in Bogota, and we started building the company from there. So far, so good. We were in the first company in Colombia to go public, and all of these adventures have taken us to developing that medical side to the business. So we have 3 areas of the company. One is the medical business, which we're going to start in probably a couple of months in Colombia. Then we have our clinics business. So we have clinics in Colombia. We own 3 clinics with 125,000 patients that go there in and out, sleep disorders, chronic pain, epilepsy, and then our CPG. And our CPG starts with Cuida, which is our firstborn baby. Is the one thing I'm most proud about because the first product in cannabis CBD that's right now being sold in 3 continents, and it's not from Canada, it's not from the United States, it's from Colombia. So I find that appealing, at least to me, in terms of
Very special.
Yes. And we developed that about a year and a half ago, thinking about what type of cosmetics should we come up with and what's the type of product, and sort of breaking the barrier of what people think CBD is about. And it's not about how much CBD you put on the product, which is what you find in the United States, but it's actually the combination of all the other APIs together that make
the CB-derm technology.
Exactly. You're right. You read it.
Yes, I read it. I tried it, and it works. Like you said, when the ingredients work together, beautifully, and all the botanicals and all everything that you're using in here together, the synergy of these ingredients. That's how the cells of your skin, renew and rejuvenate.
No, and it's a good high-quality product because, it's got 2 years of stability testing. It's not something that's going to break on the airplane, as you can see when you got the products here.
Yep.
So it took us some time to develop, and then we brought in the team, which is mostly led by very high-level executives that are women who are now in charge of taking this.
How inspiring.
Yes, yeah. From everywhere from Elsa down, they know, and when they speak about the product, because they also try it, and they know what people like, what they don't like. And so far, so good. I mean, 2 days ago, I was in a meeting and watching the live stream of, our VP of CPG in the UK talking to the jewelry channel an hour. I said to her, I don't know how you spoke about this product for an hour. It's amazing. And starting to see all the orders on the TV and such makes you very, very proud of building something that nobody was expecting you to do, because the way I think about it, most people expect us to be the low-cost growers. And how much can you ship to the States so somebody in the States can make a really good quality product? And then you come out and say, I don't want to do that. I want to actually build that brand. And to see that in the UK, and I was in December in Los Angeles where we're opening the Cannabis Now store, and seeing all, the flag and saying Cuida, and those are very special things because not many people expect us to do that. So it's very exciting. So I'm very excited also to be here and talk about it. And I wasn't thinking 2 years ago that I would be here talking about a cannabis product in the States. So it's very, very emotional.
Definitely. And it says even on the packaging, Cannabis Cosmetics.
Yes.
And I think that's unique because a lot of these CBD brands that I've seen out here in the beauty industry, it just says hemp products or CBD. Right. But I like that it said Cannabis Cosmetics.
Yes.
And that made me, because I love cannabis.
Yeah.
So it made me want to try the product faster. I was like, oh, nice packaging. Cannabis Cosmetics, okay.
You'll be surprised because these products, we change the labeling, the packaging depending on the market. In some cases, like the cannabis It's a positive word in some other markets. It's better to talk about CBD. We pay a lot of attention there. It's starting to show.
Look, I'm putting on the eye cream.
Hey, look, you're looking better.
I know, right? Instantly.
So we have to do a lot of adaptations market to market. But we're very good at that. So
It feels
Yeah.
so great on the skin.
really,
Yeah, really beautiful. Especially for an eye cream. And for the ladies, like, these are our skin concerns. You know, it's like when you smile or when you laugh, you get these, like, eye things.
yes.
And especially when you're on camera and stuff.
One of the best things now is that I have a gift basket for everybody in at Christmas. So
Ooh.
my family is already asking, now that you have it, you have to give it to me. And so now I have to buy all these packets by the end of the year for Christmas to all my family who are really into the product.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And it's amazing that the repurchasing of it in Colombia is being so great.
That's the biggest thing.
Yes.
Is the reorder and
Yeah.
having these retail stores and, of course, the consumers reordering on the website and going back to get it again.
Well, but it has to be good quality, right?
Yeah, consistent.
Otherwise, you wouldn't use it more than once.
That's true.
And that's one of the problems with cosmetics and these new things is they're great to buy the first time and nobody buys it the second time. So we've also had to adjust all our branding strategy towards that, no? So you go from the big micro influencers, 2 million followers with little engagement to start talking about with real people that actually like the product, that have more sway over the people that they follow. So, we've learned a lot, and I think now the States is going to show us a whole bunch of more tools that we need to use in terms of marketing. But we know that behind it is a great product, and when people find out it's from Colombia, I think the perceptions change.
It's true.
Because, sadly, for a Colombian like me, the most things people know about our country is thanks to Netflix. So it's not, we're able to change some of that conversation. It always feels good.
Well, this product definitely gives Colombia and Latin America such a beautiful reputation.
Thank you.
And it makes me want to go travel there.
Yeah, you've
It
never
makes me
been?
No, I've never been, but
No?
it makes me want to go check out the cannabis industry in
Oh,
Colombia.
yeah, you will love it. You will love
Yeah.
it. It's Colombia, particularly, is a combination of different weathers, different type of people. We're very warm. Tourism has increased a lot. It's very different from what people thought about 20 years ago. So don't watch that. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it. Just keep that on the to see list. But I mean, everybody that goes there and falls in love with it. So it's always good to break those barriers when people go and visit us.
Totally. And you guys mentioned that you have 3 clinics.
Yes.
So if you are somebody that is looking to get, their medical, marijuana, usually in California, you have to go to a doctor and you get a script right there.
Yes.
How does it work in Colombia? Do you have to try
Well-
other products prescription drugs before you can get medical
No,
cannabis?
what we
or-
are trying to do, and this is very sort of avant-garde, I guess, is that we don't believe, or I don't believe, at least the company doesn't believe that cannabis is a solution to all your problems, because it's like going to the dentistry and just always having your tooth pulled out, because that's the only thing the dentist knows how to do. No, so you have to think about cannabis either as a co-helper or as a supplement, or in some cases with opiates, how do you can translate, get out of that opiate into cannabis. So what we're thinking about this new integrative healthcare management, in which you're thinking about mind, body, and spirit. And how do you, for example, take care of pain through an application of several processes? So in our clinics, we're going to have what we have, regular pain management. You couple that with yoga. You couple that with acupuncture. You couple that with, in some extreme cases, with surgery. And then on top of that, you come up with a medical cannabis program that helps the patient improve the quality, his or her quality of life. And the reason we do that is because I think that's the best way to start talking about cannabis as something that's actually very medicinal, that is not just a fad or a trend. And that's the type of things that we're doing in our clinic. So we just opened our last one last week. We're having patients come in there, and when they start seeing that cannabis will help you, but coupled with all of these other treatments, that, for example, if you're in chronic pain, you also need mental support. And your family needs support. If you're a palliative care, in your last months of life and you have a family, you have to support that family so that family knows what to do. And that ecosystem that we're building is what's going to make us successful, not only in terms of cannabis sales, but I think our purpose in life is to improve the quality of life of people. We apply cannabis to it, of course. That's how we started the company. But it's not a race about how many more bottles you can sell. It's a race about how many more people you can change people's lives. And if you can, using a cannabis as a co-helper or a supplement, I think it makes the conversation much easier. And that same model we're taking to Mexico, to Peru, to Brazil, and that's how we plan to tackle that 640 million people market. So I know it sounds a little bit arrogant to say, but while everybody else is fighting for how many more hectares or acres in this case you can produce, or how many more bottles you can sell, I think I'm more interested in how do we reach that millions of patients
That need it.
that need it. Maybe they don't know they need it, and maybe they don't need it all as much. But as part of a integrative healthcare system, we can improve their lives. And in the end, that's what you're trying to do. Because you're trying to fight the opioid that pharmaceutical companies that only want to push products down the patient's throats. So now you're saying, I'm just
That
going to
bothers
push.
me so much.
It does.
Yeah.
So you cannot, at least I think, you cannot go and say, now instead of opiates, I'm going to push cannabis down your throat. Because it's the same thing anyways, no? Of course, it's less dangerous. But if you talk about a different thing, about we want to improve your life, we think that cannabis can help you, and we believe in that because we're building the evidence, it becomes a different conversation with the doctor, with the patient. So, I mean, I could go on and on, but that's the reason we founded the company, thinking about the patient first, and then the land second, and then all of that. Most people now, if you look at the States, everybody thinks about how much cannabis they can produce, no? Which is really, if you're in the recreational, I guess that would work. And medical, it's really not about that.
I always talk about my friend because she lives in Israel right now, and she used to live in California.
Okay.
So she was used to getting her cannabis every day, going to your dispensary in Malibu. She would get her cannabis, go home. Now she's in Israel. She's struggling with pain. She has rheumatoid arthritis. She's a mom, and she can't get her cannabis because the way it works is like she has to go to the doctor, and she has to try like 700 painkillers before she can get prescribed medical cannabis.
And she has to go to one specific doctor in the government that says yes or no.
Yeah. So she hasn't even tried to get it because it's like she doesn't want to go on A, B, C, D, prescription pills, and then something can happen to her. Then you have to go to the doctor and say, oh, this hasn't worked for me. Now can I please have the cannabis? But it's like taking so long.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, the access.
Access is very important. Access, I think, is a combination of two things. One is you gotta convince doctors. I mean, in Latin America, it's gonna be up to the
But
doctors.
how do we convince the doctors that this is actually working for us?
Takes time. You have to do education programs. You have to go to symposiums. You have, I'm not saying it's the way we do it, but
Yeah.
it's the way we do it. You have to go and convince the medical associations. You have to show them the evidence. I mean, for example, we have 65 doctors in our company with the clinics. And most of the doctors now being trained abroad in Canada to learn how to prescribe cannabis. And then you start showing the evidence and you start building that confidence. We develop all these education platforms that you can start showing all the doctors. You develop a 2-month program following up with all the documentation, and then you start opening the doctors' minds. On the other side, you start talking to patient associations. So you also have to get the patients to talk about it. It's not a quick process.
Yeah, you need the patients to talk about it, like have real, honest, trial period where you say, hey, I was like this, and then 3 months later after using cannabis, it helped me with this. But people aren't honest about it, and they're afraid. The cannabis smokers are afraid to say what it's doing for them, especially if they come from
you have to do a lot of support for them.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to show them that things are going to get better, and this is a program, and you have to get them on stage and talk about how cannabis has improved their lives. I mean, when you have a government official sitting next to a parent of twins in Medellin that are 5-year-old and are epileptic, and he tells the government official how he had to grow cannabis in his own backyard so that he could extract CBD and give his daughter CBD.
Wow.
Those are real powerful stories.
Of course.
And those are the stories that you want to convey, and those are the patients that you want to support.
Totally.
And then it changes the entire perspective, and then the doctor also starts believing it. So it takes a little bit of time, but it also depends on the regulation. So Israel, of course, is a bit more complex. I think what you'll see in Latam is that it's up to the doctors, which, in terms of business sense, you're doing education, and education always pays off. And when you can tell the story about that parent or the 10,000 stories that we have at Khiron, because we have a clinic, so we know the stories. And you can say how those people were changed because of what we're doing. I know it sounds very subjective, sounds very cliche, but I honestly believe that if you do things in life that way, then the back of the store will take care of itself. And when you start telling those stories, those become worldwide stories, and they just start taking to Mexico and Brazil, Europe, London, one day to United States, who knows? And then I think that's what maybe 3 years from now, people will say, well, this is not as bad as people think. But the problem is always in regulation with the countries. Colombia is a little bit
There's
like
still
that.
the stigma right now, and I actually I used to work in a clinic in California, so my job was to help patients, and I heard the stories too. It's like,
Yeah.
and some people love to tell the stories, and some people don't, you know.
Yeah.
But that's like the biggest thing right now is people coming out of the cannabis closet. Tell your story.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Well, you know,
Be honest.
there's
you know?
stigmas everywhere.
Yeah, stigma everywhere.
I remember first time
everywhere.
I created a company with my with my partners, and I'm telling everybody in my family, "Hey, well, I'm switching from building skyscrapers,
Yeah,
and I want to
commodities.
build a
Yeah.
medical cannabis company." I think my mom was the first one to say,
Are you
you know,
nuts?
RPI, undergraduate, masters, MBA at Georgetown, all of this education. Now you want to be a pothead. You have to explain to people why you want to do this. And then I remember first time I went to Toronto to raise money for the company, and everybody's looking at Colombia who's raising money for cannabis. So everybody's making the same jokes they should be making about Colombia, whatever. So you have to break barriers everywhere. The patients have to learn, the doctors, the governments, the media. 3 years ago, I couldn't get an appointment to sit with a Colombian newspaper because they didn't want to talk about cannabis.
Ooh, of course not.
Now I'm here in New York, your show, talking about Cuida product in the States. So if that doesn't tell you that this world is moving very fast, I don't know what else will. No?
Thank you. I mean, that's exactly why we decided to come up with Sparkz, our Cannabis Media company, because I worked in media, and like you said, people would just shy away from, hey, interview my client that has a cannabis brand. Oh, no, the media,
Yeah.
no. So I saw there was a market for that. So that's why we started the Sparkz, yay, because we're probably like one of the only ones doing cannabis media here in New York City.
Right. And we're just in the first stages. I think
We're
people
just getting
forget
started.
about that.
Yeah,
no?
people, we're not even like legally
No,
here
no.
yet in
And
New
the
York.
world is just starting, no? So
We're just getting started.
I was in a conference last week, and we were talking about the Canadian cannabis market and how everybody's so depressed about it. I'm thinking Canada is 35 million people. The world is 3 billion. United States is not even legal yet.
Yeah.
Latin America is 640.
It's
Why are we
booming
concerned?
now. This
Right?
is the
So-
time right now, like 2021 to 2024.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of changes in the cannabis space in a positive way.
Yes.
And if you're in it for the long run, it's going to be, I think, very lucrative.
Right. So congratulations for this. You're in the right spot at the right
Yes,
time,
exactly.
the right market. It's a
I
great
appreciate that.
opportunity. No,
Yeah,
of
great
course.
opportunity, and it's great to meet people like yourself that are
Thank you.
doing big things in Latin America.
You have to
And
go.
I have to go. If
Yeah.
you can invite our crew, we'd love to bring our camera, our microphone.
Oh, we always
a
love
few
to
of
invite
my,
people.
A
Yeah,
few of
yeah,
my
yeah, absolutely.
coworkers, they would love to take a trip to Colombia. So if we're invited,
Of course, you'll be
we'd
invited.
love to be there.
You'll love it. I mean, every time we're just having somebody in Canada last week. It's amazing because you change so many perceptions, right? In terms of security, and people get there and they call their parents, I'm going to Colombia, oh, don't go. And then they get there, and the entire perception gets changed.
Yep.
I'll tell you, my wife is not from Colombia. She's from Panama.
Oh, okay.
And so when I got married 15 years ago, and and I went to my parents-in-law, I said, I want to marry your daughter. Okay, where are you going to live? I'm going to live in Bogota. Wow, that sounds a little bit dangerous. So anyways, I got the go-ahead. My wife's been mugged once in her life. And you know where she got
sorry?
mugged? In Georgetown, Washington, D.C. Never in Colombia.
wow.
So I always think how we always talk about security, we always talk about perceptions, right? People assume that it's dangerous because we've heard about it. And then you to see that I'm getting my MBA and she gets mugged right next. Thankfully, nothing happened to her. But
That's
my
sad,
point
yeah.
here is that, you never know. No? Even Washington, D.C., which later I found out was one of the most dangerous cities in the United States. But you never know about these things.
So it's safe, so we can go.
It's very safe. It's very safe. You go to Bogota, we'll go to Cartagena, you can go to Medellin.
We'd
People
love
are
to go.
very, very opening, very welcoming. Yeah.
We would love
We'll
to
have to
come.
organize that.
Yeah, we would love to. We'll bring our crew. We'll represent the cannabis industry in New York.
Oh, yeah, you'll love it. You'll love it. Then you can come back and talk.
Yes, and we can talk about it.
You have to take good shots so you can show all your audience how nice Colombia is.
Definitely. Well, if they haven't been there, but they can totally catch a vibe of Colombia if they check out your
Oh, yeah,
products. And if they
absolutely.
use their products, they can feel like they went out to Colombia as well. I mean, just from the packaging alone, check it out. They can head to your website. But I just love everything in this line, from
Thank
their
you,
body
Jennifer.
lotion to the eye cream to the night cream to the Stepo fluid. Oh, I love that. Khiron Life Sciences are doing big things in the cannabis space. Go check out Quita. and you're going to feel the difference.
Absolutely.
Yep,
Absolutely.
CB Derm technology.
Absolutely.
Definitely
Next time I'll
different.
bring Elsa so you can have a longer chat about the
Yes.
high quality of the products.
Yes, high quality, and you guys are doing such amazing things in the cannabis space.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to now smoke medicinal Colombian cannabis. That's what I got from this
We'll
interview.
have to get some for you. Then.
Alvaro, thank you
Thank
for
you,
stopping
Jennifer.
by.
No, thank you for
Did
the
you have a great time?
I have. It's a great interview, great setting,
I appreciate it.
great vibe. Thank you so much for endorsing our products. I'm
Definitely.
glad you like them.
Yes, we love them. And where can they check you guys out? I know you're on social media and Instagram and stuff.
So we have an Instagram account, we have a LinkedIn account, Twitter, and we also have an Instagram account for a Quida skin product. It's called Quida Skincare
Okay.
with a K. And there we're posting all our social media, our influencers, and just trying to show everybody how how also to advertise this differently because this is a different type of product. So we're
Definitely.
very active on social media. Yeah.
Awesome. Give them a follow. And of course, you can follow us at Sparkz Network. You can follow my Instagram as well at Jennifer Tapiero. We have tons of product reviews coming your way, but this is definitely a product that I'm obsessed with. It's all mine. Shout out
can
to my
tell.
boss who tried to steal my package a couple days
he
ago.
shouldn't. You're the star, right? So we'll just send him more.
He
Don't
took my
worry.
body lotion. I want it.
Okay.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next
Bye.
time.
Thank you, Jennifer.